So Kim asked me to write about my experience with receiving a teaching, and I have written about it, and it has been posted at the blog. So I was thinking I'll read the text now, and then we will practice the teaching that was received as well. So.
Karl,
Mm-hmm.
do you have some information about Shakya Shri? Do you have the Wikipedia page open?
Well,
It would be useful to say something of the summary of
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a recent posting on Facebook? Is it? Yeah.
Yes, 2 days.
What?
2 days.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was posted.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shakya Shri was born in 1853. So it's quite a recent master. Originally trained in Mahamudra. Started out as a cook, and from an early age he was very he was perceived as being very compassionate, very soft, having a very soft presence. Yeah, so he was originally trained in Mahamudra, but also received teachings in Dzogchen, mastered both teachings, the relative teachings as well as the essence of the teachings, which are the same. And then he passed in 1919. So it's quite recent. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of background information about him. So then I will just read the text out loud. Receiving a teaching from Shakya Shri. Hidden treasures or mind treasures, Tibetan terma, are teachings that are concealed by a Mahasiddha, such as Guru Rinpoche, for later discovery by yogins with karmic connection to the master. The reason for this is to make sure that authentic teachings suitable to particular cultures are available for generations to come. As impermanence also applies to the physical forms of Dharma, teachings that have been in circulation for a long time, for example in old lineages, have a tendency to lose their efficiency because they get outdated, that is, their form is no longer suitable to a particular culture, mindset, paradigm, etc. Or 2, they get modified by teachers lacking insufficient understanding of the underlying principles of Dharma, rendering the teachings impotent or less effective. Hiding termas to be revealed within future cultures is a brilliant way of avoiding this. In this text, I would like to write about my own experiences with receiving termas, particularly the first teaching I received from the wonderful 19th century Mahasiddha Shakya Shri. In September 2017, my teacher Kim Katami and I did a short, casual retreat at a cabin in eastern Finland. One evening, as we were about to meditate, Kim showed me a picture of Shakya Shri on his phone. As soon as I saw the picture, my being was flushed with a warm presence and the room lit up with a powerful with powerful blessings that clarified our minds. After a while of sitting and taking in the blessings of Shakya Shri, Kim said to me, "If you now ask for a teaching, advice, or an instruction, you will get it." Being unfamiliar with the experience of receiving teachings from non-physical masters, I asked the Mahasiddha to make sure to remove my doubts by making it obvious that this was not a product of my own imagination. A moment after passing the request, my body started feeling very hot. In my mind's eye, I saw a fireball, a bright burning star forming above the crown of my head. At first, I was taken back a little by the sudden change of the inner environment, but I kept watching the ball as it took on a life on its own. First, it slowly descended from above the crown, through the skull and down the central channel within the spine, stopping at the perineum. As it was moving, the ball of light was illuminating the central channel. I could see and feel it very clearly. After sitting at the base of the spine for a few moments, the fireball started slowly going back up again, but this time it stopped at the crown inside the skull. Then the light started expanding upwards, splitting my skull open to form a sort of upside-down cone of light emanating from the top of the skull. It felt like a volcano eruption of light from the top of my head. After that, the whole central channel, still glowing, expanded to cover the entire aura or energy field, an area of approximately 3 meters in diameter around my body. After a while, the intensity slowly faded until there was nothing but spacious awareness left. I remember experiencing an afterglow that lasted the entire rest of the evening, as well as a feeling of euphoria due to not having purified all karmic patterns. During the time that has passed since this evening, I have received a few teachings from different masters, all of which have been less intense experiences. I actually realized that I have received teachings before the one described here, but because I had no framework with which to understand and make sense of the experiences, there was no way for me to interpret it and make use of it. Although some tertons, such as Dujum Lingpa, seem to have been gifted with the ability of unlocking termas from childhood, it seems to me that most people need a framework to do so. This idea has led me to believe that receiving termas isn't necessarily that rare an experience, it's just that most people and cultures don't have this framework. Because of this, very few people are able to make use of these universal experiences. I hope that the writing and publication of this short text will be a small contribution to the general acceptance of the fact that human beings have the ability to communicate and receive teachings from non-physical beings, and that this again will help us move towards a more mature culture, one that embraces all principles of Dharma. May all beings be free. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's nice to actually, well, I would certainly have loved and still would love to read other people's experiences of this, because it's kind of, well, the intention at least was to kind of demystify it a little bit, because although this was a particularly, this was felt very intensely, it also felt quite natural, quite, like a natural experience. But yeah, I don't think I have to say much more. I think we should just go to the practice itself. So, taking a comfortable posture. Recognizing spaciousness, letting it touch the physical body. Asking Shakya Shri to be with us here now, to bless this practice session of Dharma Sun visualization, helping us burn our own karmic patterns for the benefit of all beings. Shakya Shri. Then simply visualizing or seeing like a bright burning ball, a sun above the head, maybe a meter or so above the head, feeling the heat of it on the skin, maybe even slight perspiration. Like a dynamic, burning sun. really feeling into it. Then slowly and effortlessly bringing the sun down towards the head, through the head, and down through the spine, central channel, and just notice how it illuminates the central channel as it goes down. Further down through the heart, through the belly, through the sacral center, and stopping at the base of the spine. Just feel it there for a few moments. Seeing and feeling how the central channel is lighting up. Feel it burning. And then from the base of the spine, you can see and feel that the light shoots upwards through the skull, straight up, and starts emanating light from the top of the skull as an upside down cone, in the shape of an upside down cone. As if cracking through the skull. Also noticing the whole spine expanding, the heat expanding, the light expanding. So that the diameter of the central channel increases and increases and covers the whole aura. Two and a half to 3 meters in diameter. Burning away at all the impurities. And then just feeling the energy. Feeling the light covering the whole body, mind.
Speak clearly.
as if your whole being becomes or your whole energy body becomes the sun, a burning fireball. Then the active visualization can be left alone or let go of, so that we simply feel into the vibrations, the energy in the energy body. Also noticing the energy when it gets subtler and subtler. If anything needs letting go of, simply opening up as before, surrendering it to the space. Thank you, Shakya Shri. Thank you very much. Very much. Thank you to lineage masters in Shakya Shri's lineage before him. May many benefit of this teaching of his, and may his blessings and the blessings of all the Mahasiddhas of the present moment spread out to all beings. How do you feel? Did it work? There you go. You know, we have how old are you?
28.
28-year-old fellow from Norway. Northern Norway. Not even the south. Who received a terma. And as everybody here can, validate with our own experience, it's a valid terma.
Attest.
Attest? Right. Isn't that something? As I was listening Karl talk about this, I remembered a couple of quotes that I would like to read. First, I will read you a short quote that is mentioned in the translator's introduction in Duchom Lingpa's autobiography. The autobiography in English is called A Clear Mirror. So there it says, like Guru Rinpoche, Yeshe Tsogyal vanished from the human world, yet she remains constantly accessible to practitioners at any level. Constantly accessible to practitioners of any level. And I'll just read the other one. And this quote is from Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, who is one of the, or maybe actually the most popular Dzogchen teachers and a teacher of Tantric Buddhism as well today. Very popular teacher. By great transference, we mean that the material body is integrated with the substance of the elements and disappears into the light. Those who have the capacity can continue to see it, but for those who are limited to a common vision, it is as if it disappears. In short, those who manifest the great transference continue to live in light, give teachings, and work for the benefit of all beings who have the capacity to get in contact with them. Maybe I'll just twist it a little bit and read that last sentence again. In short, those who manifest the great transference, meaning masters, continue to live in light, give teachings, and work for the benefit of all beings who have the capacity to get in contact with them. This is a quote by Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche. So just like Karl was mentioning, there is kind of this like a weird aura, a mist or a veil of some kind with this topic. And it would be better if it wasn't there. Throughout the history, many people have received teachings, not only Buddhists, but otherwise in all religions, in all spiritual ways. People have received teachings non-physically. Well, in Tibetan Buddhism there is a tradition for this, and we speak of termas, of teachings termas can be received physically too. There are so-called earth termas that you can receive a teaching that is hidden inside a rock or inside a tree or something, and somehow you come about this rock and the rock opens and or tree bark leaves and you get a scroll of teaching or something. There are many accounts of earth termas. But then there are these mind termas and also pure vision termas. Mind terma means that you learn a technique, like the way how I've experienced it since 2007, when it was the first time when I learned teachings, was that the master taught me some technique and gave advice how to use it or some other advice. That is mind terma. So there is like a learning process of that teaching. But then there is this pure vision terma, which comes like in a flash, and then you just know. You know a technique. The two-part formula is like that. I think that's the only pure vision terma I've received so far. But anyway, I wasn't meaning to talk about my experiences, because I've talked about this before, but it was said in that Yeshe Tsogyal quote that it already escaped me. Yet she remains constantly accessible to practitioners at any level. And masters who manifest the great transference continue to live in light, give teachings, and work for the benefit of all beings who have the capacity to get in contact with them. There is not a single person, like every human being who has a healthy mind can get in contact with them. This is something that is not clearly taught in Tantric Buddhism. And that is a great pity, because everybody can be in direct contact with Mahasiddhas. The definition of a Mahasiddha, a realized Buddha, is that the awareness and the energy and the blessings of that Mahasiddha is available at any place, at any time, to anyone, to all people. Right?
So there's no need for like empowerments for Guru Yoga, for example, can be very useful, but we don't have in Open Heart, we don't have an empowerment for Guru Rinpoche's Guru Yoga, because you can be in that direct connection yourself, just by using the mantra and learning to, getting to know him that way. So I think that it's good to talk about this and raise this issue, because if everything comes, if what is the word? Like if you have to learn everything from the Lama, from the teacher sitting in the front, it puts too much emphasis on the fellow sitting in the front. And this, as what can be seen in Tantric Buddhism, leads to very unhealthy things. Okay? I won't expand on that, but I just wanted to kind of underline this principle that these masters are available to anyone, whether you are a initiated practitioner of this lineage or any other lineage or not. If you're a atheist or whoever you are, whatever you've done, it doesn't matter. Those blessings and that direct guidance is possible. And if there is a value of receiving teachings, like practices and instructions for somebody, it is possible to get them. But if there is no like a purpose for it, then there's no purpose for it, and that's why you don't get them. But if there is some purpose, you can get instructions and like direct advice or some technique. It is possible. Okay? This is something that until now I haven't said this, because for the 10 years that I've been teaching, almost 10, I've always emphasized just the blessings, just that clarity aspect of mind clarifying aspect of Guru Yoga, because that's the most important. That's the essence of Guru Yoga. But I think it's time to talk about this, in generally, raise it as a topic. It is not, I think you mentioned in the text that it's not something extraordinary, something like totally whoa. It's not like that. It's just receiving teachings and advice, just like you're listening me talk now. So when one's mind becomes clear enough and there is this purpose, a need for it, and so on, these basic things, factors checked, so the only difference between Guru Rinpoche, Yeshe Tsogyal and us is that we are in a physical body, they are not. We are samsaric beings, they are not. But despite of those main differences, they are the same. And we have that same Buddha nature. Our Buddha nature is not any different than theirs. They have attained, we yet haven't. That's the difference. There is no other difference. If, like in Namkhai Norbu, in his quote, he said that those who have the capacity to get in contact with them, those who have the capacity. So this capacity, we all have that potential. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? I hope this gives you confidence. This kind of opens up your mind in some way. I was really happy since last September when when we did that short read and Karl got his first teaching non-physically. And there are others in Open Heart Sangha. In the Finnish practitioners there are, well, of course my wife, Pau, but there are also one or two people who have received teachings like this. So it's not that uncommon and it's not strange. So I kind of wanted to raise this matter so that you also know that it's not something totally out of the world. And everybody who's watching this should also know that has been happening for thousands and thousands of years for different people. Did I make that point clear enough? Okay, let's have a tea break for 15-20 minutes and then continue a little bit more, just a little bit sitting and the concluding prayers. Thank you.